The Rizzler's coming. What do you mean?
No, the Rizzler only goes for the yacht. It's not big.
You know, Pig doesn't have a yacht.
He doesn't.
I don't have a gear.
Trust me, he does not. Or else the Rizzler would be on him right now.
I think I'm dead.
Your Pig is the Rizzler.
Yep.
You ever seen Pig and the Rizzler in the same room?
Shut up. Fucking donkey.
Talking absolute utter hogwash. I agree. I agree. How'd I not hit that box?
He's your shit, brother.
Shut up!
I can't believe that you already finished the second version of Tigger's Honey Hunt.
Yeah, that's fucking Rambo. That's what he did.
I'm a gamer, what can I say?
Bro hated that game and did it twice.
Game's so nice.
Yeah, he didn't hate it really.
Game so nice.
Really, he was like
played
begging
twice.
for Winnie the Pooh.
Big guy with question for you.
Go on.
Where are the DLC achievements for Elden Ring?
I don't think I'm really the person who can answer that, on God. What with
I
not
doubt they're
being
gonna
they're not
Yeah,
going to happen.
Where are they, Piggy? Where are they?
They're located deep within my arse, on God. You're going to have to go scouting.
You're gonna have to dig, Homer. You're gonna have to dig.
You're Captain Piggy.
I don't know why not, but I only know that it is not.
It's
Fix
evil,
it.
that's mean. Ah! That one shot with the scallop.
Right. Why do you have to say
Certain
with
one
the scallop?
shots with the scallop.
I said what the scallop? He thinks he's the comedic genius now.
I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just saying. Or, I don't know. Sorry.
You better be fucking sorry.
Shut up, King, you bitch.
Like a hungry hippo.
Yeah. But he's a hung god. Not deep, King.
That was a deep conversation.
You work with me and
How do I get that thing to come back down?
What the?
What the skibby? Or we'll touch him because he's your op. So
It is my op. You were so right.
are you gonna kill him at TwitchCon? Kill him at TwitchCon.
Yeah,
That wouldn't be good.
be alright.
You know what they say? There's no one's gotta do what he's gotta do.
I would by far be the people's champ if I actually.
Let's keep this shit. Like if you committed first degree murder, you would definitely be the people's champion.
I would.
Yeah. I'm square selling so hard.
Shut the fuck up.
No. You can't tell me to do any more so good. You're not the boss of my actions.
Did I do that? Yo, I did. Let's go.
There's still an actual level left in.
qualify this because I have a little bit of information behind the scenes, and it's kind of interesting. It's like this has all happened in a cascade where basically I think Team Liquid are kind of panicking a little bit. Like, I'm in the news again because I happened to mention that a source had said to me that, you know, like, oh, they're keeping tabs on Wrinkle, but Nip under no pressure to sell, despite like losing $40 million in like the last 2 years or whatever it's been. But anyway, so what ended up happening, from what I've been told behind the scenes, is ultimately Cadian, for whatever reason, they just didn't vibe with his approach to not the game tactically, but how he implemented feedback. And so you get this callback to what happened in Astralis with the Stabby movement, where everyone apparently got Mardy with him. Now, by the way, for full disclosure, I know Cadian. I consider him a friend. I'll always go to bat for Cadian. So just ignore it. I'm biased as fuck, right? Because I think one of the things that has plagued his career is when he has to give tough feedback and tough love to star players, like all fucking star players do, they catch feelings. And Duncan knows historically, Cadian's been on the outs in the Danish scene, and this is why he ended up playing, you know, on some of the teams that he did in his career. Where Cadian shines is when he gets to work with younger, inexperienced players that can be molded and shaped and do.
Twist is suddenly going to become a great in-game leader. I feel like the device transition to in-game leader is more an exception to the rule, and more often than not, we see the failure.
Anyway, I think you two are picking that up way too much. I think like they're back to looking the same ordinary Astralis that they were under Blame F. That was what we call a honeymoon period. Now we're really going to find out what device is made of, and so far he ain't passed the testing yet.
Yeah, also, I mean, I've had a lot to say about that Astralis team, but they were damn good at T-side pistol rounds, which then made their T-sides always look better. But back to the Liquid point, I mean, I was hesitant about the team solely. I mean, you go back to what I said in podcasts and tweets when the roster was leaked back in November, and the one hesitation I had was with Skulls. But the bad part about the situation, and to your point, is that really it's everything. It's everything failed on this roster. Other than
Munacy, you know, for a player like that's well liked, we're gonna go, oh, you know, keep that shit fucking well away. Don't want to talk about that. Let players be players, you know, blah blah blah. Well, obviously, even the construction of the Cloud19 went through a Norwegian proxy at a time when everyone was saying, no, you can't do business with Russian entities, and nobody got upset or bent out of shape about that. But you know, right now, it kind of feels, because we, you know, the geopolitical situation and the continual escalation of what's going on, it does feel like opportunities are super limited for Russian players right now. And just from the viewpoint as well, if you're G2, why would you want to risk picking up a Russian player that's going to potentially be denied a visa every time you travel? I mean, even if you believed it was the right player.
Oh, if you go to America, you gamble on the dice, you won't even get the visa. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and you know, and we've got a major coming up in 25 in America. So this is a very real problem that's kind of plaguing where these Russian players go. And as I've said, I know behind the scenes, you know, people have been kind of lobbying against Russian organizations, even ones that aren't based in Russia, like Team Spirit. You know, they're like really trying to, you know, oh, we don't want them in the league and blah 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 and all this stuff. It's a weird time. So Perfecto, his next move has got to be the right one, or you're right, he could just fall into the abyss of irrelevancy, and we don't see him for a long time.
For my bad point, I've actually got a very short and sweet one. So I want everyone now, I actually have the chat box down, so I can't link it to you. Go on Liquipedia and just look at the format for the Esports World Cup in CS2. Because remember, last year, it was called Gamers 8, if you remember. It was at the end of CSGO. And what they did is, because at the time it was a totally brand new event on the circuit, it actually, by the way, was just like an all right sized event. If you remember, they famously did just a single limb, I think it was 16-team bracket, and it was like a very simple, just get the tournament run. And that to me was almost just like, just show you can run a tournament, basically, right? This year is the year where, remember, half the discussion's not even been about the game, guys. It's just about Saudi influence, and they're buying it up, and sports washing. Yeah. Well, here's the weirdest thing that I don't get. The most obvious thing I would tell the Saudis to do is, like, at least, like, make it fucking sick. Make it really awesome. Make it so that like I have to actually remind fuck, I'm not supposed to like this though. It's the Saudi thing. If you actually make it like, I don't even need the Saudi element. This is a dog shit format. The tournament lasts something like 5 days, and you look at it. It's almost like a shit blast or something. Like, if you look, guys, it starts with like a 4 out of 8 like opening stage. And then there's a plane, which presumably for the teams, I'm guessing, who lose the opening stage. And then you go into just a single elim 8-team bracket. Like, what is this? Like, if I'm coming into a space and trying to trick everyone that I'm awesome, isn't this where you go the opposite when you go, I'm having like, GSL groups, do like the major format that people want. I'd go that. I'm so underwhelmed by this format. Like, this actually looks like a fucking rush job or something, mate.
This looks so. I just went through it all because so there's 4.
Oh, by the way, I'm assuming the one on Wikipedia is correct. Like, obviously, I believe they wouldn't put it up normally if they didn't know something about it. But this looks like it's. I've never seen a format like this before, so I'm guessing this is a format.
No, I've never seen it. I'll just describe it to people if they aren't following or just following via audio. Like, it's 15 teams total. Everybody is in a single elim bracket to start. It's just one match. It's a BO3, and if you win that match, you're going to the playoffs. And the losers go into this play-in stage, which is its own separate
to get one team for the playoffs.
Yeah, 8-team bracket where...
We can't just sit there and think we'll win every duel. We have to gamble stack, we have to over-rotate, we have to insta-rotate. By the way, they were probably the best insta-rotate team ever. They might even have been better than Prime Astralis boys, because even Prime Astralis has superstars who might go, maybe I won't do that. Like, they looked like in that team for real, Cadian said jump, they just said how high. That's all. That cliche fits so well, that squad. Right, one, I can tell you, it was never like that in Team Liquid, no matter how many exercises they show, as you guys said. That was not only never the case, sadly, it was never going to be the case if you know some of the egos I've inferred were in the team. I didn't even mention fucking little Yikindar. Mate, this motherfucker's on Nico level now, except he isn't Nico's game. There's no IGL good enough for you, bro. Jim ain't good enough, fucking Nitro ain't good enough. Bro, these people win like everything, but they're not good enough for you. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're the fucking factor between all those people. Where now Jim wins majors without you. Nitro wins Grand Slams without you. Fucking Cadian was the best IGL in the world without you. Magically, when you're next to him in this guy's shit, where he is playing with you, mate. So I'd maybe think on that one a little bit. Mate. So the last thing I would say goes along those lines. I also think he never ever, to your point, Mao, he never, not only individually did he not look the same, there was not 1 second Team Liquid ever played like Heroic. They never ever had that cohesion, coherent. It's actually pretty comparable, even though it's the same players, so it's sad in this one. It's like why everyone points out in Falcons, it's not just not having fucking nerds. They also don't even play like Ents used to. Like, the actual core doesn't play that way anymore. So I think that's the biggest bummer to me, is if you take one lesson away from Cadian and Team Liquid, it's like Carrigan rejoining FaZe. Don't do it unless everyone is 100% in and is just going to do everything this guy says. Because if you aren't, it's not going to work. And in the same way as I think Carrigan very smartly on his return to FaZe, I always told you, Maui, the genius of his return to FaZe was he got players that were comparable to the superstars he used to have. But like I said about the example of the Heroic players, they hadn't yet done it yet. So they actually were sort of like still primed ego-wise to listen. They weren't like a Guardian or an Eco, where I always thought their problem was.
Bro, I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not going to be like, oh, I wonder which one it is. The fact that Mario Bueno Silva, whatever the fuck her name is, and female Michael Chiesa, Macy Chassion from Tough, is on the main card of this pay-per-view over Peyton Talbot, Joe Piper, and fucking Cub Swanson makes me sick, bro. And I know for a fact it's going to be boring as fuck. I'm not even going to talk about the other WMMA main events that got announced. This is legitimately bullshit that it's on the card. And I know for a fact it's either going to be this fight or somehow MVP versus Gary could end up being boring as well. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say Mara Buena Silva versus Meishi Chasson kills the fucking pay-per-view dead in its track. Alright, man? Let's move on, though, to something a lot more entertaining to think about. Pereira and Smith confrontation during fight week.
regardless of how badly the rest of the team is performing around them, they're still going to find results. They're floor raisers, they're ceiling raisers, they're star players. And for me, Naf and Twist have been some of the, I'd say Twist is in my top 20 for the year, Naf is in my top 30 for the year as individuals, and so I want to move forward with them. And for Cadian and this whole project, I think what's even more disappointing, and one of the things that you didn't touch that still needs to be addressed, is that Cadian sucks at CS2. He's so bad. He's such a bad opper in this game. He can barely use the weapon anymore. Like, this CS2 nerf to oppers hit people like Cadian like a truck. He has no idea how to get this gun involved anymore, and I get that he's trying to put the pieces together, but that clutch ability that Cadian had back in CSGO, where Heroic would find themselves in a tough situation. Like, I don't know how many clutches I watched over the last 2 years where Cadian's in the B bomb side of Nuke in a post plant, and he just pulls a rabbit out of his ass. Like, it's been downright impressive, and yet for Liquid, I don't see that clutch factor. I think maybe at Chengdu he had 2 good clutches, and for the rest of his time in this 6 months with Liquid, I wasn't really feeling that.
Bam. 3.1. Rough.
I feel like I haven't seen this guy in a while.
He's becoming less common again.
He is.
Everyone got sick of him.
No, everyone just finished getting fucking master of them.
Sure.
Oh.
And even though the Conor McGregor fight fell off, I love this card. This is probably the third best card of the entire year. Every single fight on this card, except for one that's fluked its way to the main card, and that is Macy Chiasson versus Mario Bueno Silva. Every single fight other than that is awesome. And I'm just going to pretend that that doesn't exist. Listen. No one cares about that fight. Nobody cares. We shouldn't be having that fight on an International Fight Week main card. People are buying the pay-per-view. Shame on the matchmakers. I'm sick and tired of these. Oh my God, it honestly fucking pisses me off so much. The fact that that's even on the main card. There's so many other options that could have been on the main card. Either way. Without further ado, let's get into these breakdowns. And as always, the timestamps are in the description if you want to hear a take of mine on a particular one of these fights. And let's get into it. The first fight of the night is Ricky Simón versus Vinicius Oliveira. Ricky Simón, I'm a little bit worried for Ricky Simón because he's on a downward spiral right now. He's coming off of a bad loss to Mario Batista where he kind of got outpointed and beat up and out-scrambled in that fight, outworked. And there was sort of this narrative about Ricky Simón by sort of painting him out to be this like super heavy pressure cardio monster. And I never saw it. He doesn't have crazy output. He's not spamming takedowns at the same rate as some of these other grapplers like Merab Dvalishvili. He's got a big, powerful blast double leg slam takedown, and he puts a lot of effort into it. Doesn't have the best submission game, doesn't have the best finishing, doesn't have the best control, and, you know, he's pretty basic on the feet. You know, you get 1-2s, you get big, strong leg kicks, a big overhand every once in a while. I never thought that Ricky Simón was as good as he was hyped up to be, and I'm not surprised that he's coming off of 2 losses. And Vinicius Oliveira is dangerous. Now, the thing about Vinicius Oliveira is, though, that he is incredibly overhyped as well. Vinicius Oliveira is sort of talked about by the hardcore fans as being this absolute monster, this guy that KOs everyone in his path. But this is a big step up in competition. Now, yes, when it comes to the trajectory of both of their careers, Ricky Simón is on a downward spiral, and he doesn't have momentum going into this fight. And Vinicius, this is a perfect time for him to fight someone like Ricky Simón, who might be a little bit unsure of himself going into this matchup. But Vinicius, who's known for his striking, he's not really known for his grappling. Even though he had a
before that. Now, in the Waldo Cortex Acosta fight, you know, he always makes these fights look close, but it just seems like we're not in the era of his Collier, Vandera, Felipe Sherman run. If you remember that legendary run he was on, where he clearly lost to Jake Collier, by the way. So, I'm just going to trust in Martin Bidet. Huge dude, and one thing I like about him in this matchup, which I think is mainly what my prediction comes down to, is not the age. It's not like just, he's way younger, look at these other guys.
Shut smooch.
I like that he doesn't try and go tit for tat at range. I like that he's been trying to train with Tom Aspinall at his heavyweight super gym in England for the past however many years it's been, maybe a year or so. He lost to Shamil Gaziev. I think he's going to learn a lot in that heavyweight super gym of Tom Aspinall's. Great people to surround yourself with in the heavyweight division. Aspinall's training for a fight right now, and he's fought Arlovsky before, so no doubt he's going to be in the gym, giving him some pointers. But I like that Bidet doesn't try and do some outside fighting like these other heavyweights do. You're just fat. You're not good. Stop trying to be good. You'll never look good at fighting. You're fat. So just be a blob. Like, be a guy who aims to just steamroll the opponent. I like that from Bidet. I like that he's not going to be on the outside going inside low kick for inside low kick with Arlovsky and trying to get his jab going. He's probably going to lean on him in the clinch, beat him up to the body, try and break him down, and go for big volume shots up against a cage and work that pressure game plan, which I think will work against Arlovsky at this point in his career, who seems to do pretty well against the more tit-for-tat, trying to be technical heavyweight fighters. I'm going to go with Bidet. I think he'll force the fight, and I think that'll break Arlovsky. Yeah, Bidet wins. We move on. Up the card. Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Gillian Robertson. Now, who's the favorite here? Gillian Robertson is the favorite, and by quite a large amount. Am I going to go with an underdog again here this early? Because I got a few more this card, I'm telling you. I'm going to go with Michelle Waterson-Gomez. I don't really rate Gillian Robertson as a fighter. Whoa, do I go with Michelle? Oh, I don't know if what is the Gomez? Michelle Waterson. She's always had really good takedown defense and pretty good wrestling defense. She very rarely gets exploited in her wrestling, you know? Like, she's, over her past few fights, I mean, Carla Esparza took her down once, you know, and she's a wrestler with a wrestling background, at least. I know she's not good, but, you know, she was a champ, even though she's not good. You know how it is in these divisions. She's very good in terms of wrestling defense. She doesn't concede many takedowns, and when she does, she seems to survive quite well. I'm not going to say that Gillian Robertson just goes out there and subs her. And honestly, on the feet, I think night and day, Michelle Waterson is levels above Gillian Robertson on the feet. I don't think Gillian Robertson, I'll say this right now, is capable of harming a human being on the feet. I really don't think that at all. So I'm going to side with Michelle Waterson here. I'm going to go with Michelle Waterson defeating Gillian Robertson in this matchup. The son of Water and the son of Robert will go head-to-head, and Michelle Waterson shall win. We move on. Up the card, Peyton Tabet versus Yanis Gamori. I'm going with another underdog, I'm not. Peyton Tabet should win this. I will say, there's a little